Hello, welcome to the Whatchagonnawannado podcast. I'm Kevin.
I'm Caleb.
I'm Weaver Scott.
Oh,
Hey.
for filing purposes.
Yes.
All right, I like that.
James Bond.
Today, this is our
IRS.
first episode.
Oh.
First one we're ever doing. We'll never do another first one ever again.
Might not do a second.
We promise. Our first topic is going to be TV shows or movies that remind you the most of what life was like when you were growing up. Scott and I are both Gen Xers, and as Caleb likes to point out, he's a millennial.
Yeah,
So,
it's true. So those are all
With a capital M.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, capital.
so
Which is where we'll be.
would you like to go first, Scott?
Me?
Movie that reminds you of movie or
No.
or TV.
Movie or TV show, both. It doesn't have
TV
to
shoe.
It doesn't have to just be
Okay,
one.
Adidas.
It could be more.
Big fan of
Adidas reminds you the most.
It really does.
Wow.
And that was a pretty
See,
big
I would-
time.
Yellow, green.
I would go more like with USA Olympics. Remember those?
Yes.
The really cheap knockoff shoes?
Yes.
Because we could never
Now, was that a
afford
good?
nice shoes. No,
Wait,
it was
he's
not
talking.
good.
Well, we're talking about a TV shoe, which I think Adidas would be considered a TV shoe. The Olympics, was that a? Did you see that
Yeah.
one on TV?
Olympics was always on TV.
Yeah. I actually had
That's
the
all I
U.S.
had.
Olympic shoe underneath the Adidas coverings, and that's what I remember.
There you
I
go.
like that.
No, square pegs.
Yeah.
No,
the one?
no, not really. Family Ties, probably TV
Yeah.
show wise. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. For me,
Elaborate on like what it was.
Yeah, maybe for
You
people
gotta-
who don't know anything about it. Just, I'm not saying.
Was it your two
like
younger
millennials.
sisters? Or,
younger, yes.
That was the one with they were just the girls?
no.
Family Ties. Oh, is that?
Michael.
It was,
Was he the oldest?
Michael J. Fox and his
I've seen Jersey
older.
Girls.
Was his older sister or
No,
younger?
she was
Before he
younger.
started
She
time
was younger.
traveling.
Okay.
Yeah.
For the time travel stuff.
For the the
Yeah.
the
it was
DeLorean
before-
and all
It was
that.
during time travel.
Well, like, well,
And their
okay.
mother, Meredith Baxter Burney or Meredith Baxter Burney. Yeah.
She was doing all right.
And somebody else, beard, old fella,
Yeah.
Walter Matthau or something. Doesn't
was
really
a
matter.
different- that was
He's
a
just the father.
He's
The
the
point
father.
was
He worked
Michael
for
J.
PBS.
Fox, and he was a young conservative, and of course there's all references about the Reagan era in there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Heavy
And there's a
Reagan
lot
stuff.
of warm family vibes.
Yeah.
And,
Very much so.
but I didn't think it was quite as.
And they're in Ohio.
That's right.
Columbus.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the capital.
That's
Yeah.
capital.
Although we recently watched several episodes, I don't think we got to see like the final ones that like stopped Netflix or whatever it was we were watching on.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is whoever wrote that show knew nothing about Ohio.
No
No, they didn't.
geographical
Because they were just
That's
like,
true,
they were going to
Caleb,
zip
yeah.
up to Akron like it was, like they were going to Delaware or something, you know?
Yeah, it was just same day travel. No big deal. You gotta get
And
it
I
out.
guess we should
Yeah,
say,
gotta
we
be
should
an
tell our
acronym.
audience that we are from Ohio.
Yeah.
So
And
we were.
It would be, Akron would be like, something. What?
well, that's like
Three and a half
2.5.
Yeah,
at
2.5.
least.
from Columbus.
Yeah.
I'm feeling more like 3.
No, not from Columbus. It'd be actually
Depends
closer
on what
to
part of
here,
Columbus,
so.
you know.
Well,
Columbus is pretty big.
But I mean, Scott grew up in the Columbus area until he was like in 6th grade anyway.
yeah.
you
Reynoldsburg.
guys
really
went to
gets
Akron
home.
quite a bit.
No,
All the time.
No,
Almost
not
never,
really.
maybe.
Just hop over to Dayton, things they did.
Dayton's much more achievable
Yeah. But back then it wasn't.
because
The
Yeah.
speed limit was the speed limits. We had the 55 mile per hour speed limits back then.
Yeah.
So it took longer.
Like even on
to
the
get
highway?
everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wow, because just so you didn't pass the horses.
Because of the gas mileage
yeah.
stuff. Or not gas mileage because of the gas prices and stuff.
Right.
They
Yeah.
thought it would
Because you guys were
you get
war
better
with the Middle
gas
East.
mileage. Yeah. I thought you get better gas mileage. That is a good one though. Do you have like a movie or anything?
Well, Gas was richer then too. Wasn't
Right. It was a
Yeah.
more robust.
Right.
Yeah. Like, you know.
more unleaded mint something.
Yeah,
you know?
Flavorful. That's right.
Yeah, like coffee.
Like
you know,
it's
like-
strong.
Coffee, like a good
strong
cup of coffee. Yeah, I got it. It wasn't Folgers back then. You know.
Yeah.
It was
more of a
something.
Folgers blend.
Yeah.
of
Oh
gas.
yeah.
Exactly.
Like a Colombian. Like a richer.
Yeah. Yeah.
They roasted the gas better back then. It was full of flavor.
Do you have a movie?
You have a movie?
No, I did.
Oh.
Mom erased that.
That'll be another episode.
Yeah, we'll get into that. Yeah. There's really a lot of movies.
Yeah.
Because I love movies anyway.
I mean, you said it.
Good point.
We were all thinking it.
Let's see. Well, there's so many.
Yeah.
Then I could go for an obvious one, you know, the John Hughes. American Graffiti. Yeah. Reefer Madness, that whole thing. But I'm
Plan 9.
Plan 9.
Yeah.
Like most of the Dracula stuff.
Most of the Dracula films. Actually, one of my favorite movies, The Thing, John Carpenter's The Thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's phenomenal.
Not our favorite movies.
Oh,
Well, it's most like your childhood. Like the Pretty in Pinks.
okay. Okay. Default back
We
to
can give a TV show, and then we can come back and be thinking about movies.
any movie that Nick Lowe's in it. I mean, Rob Lowe.
And Nick.
And
Nick might have
too.
been there.
He might have
He
been
was
there.
probably doing the boom. Nick wasn't up in front of the camera guy.
Hey,
No.
Caleb, what's your TV show?
Well, I've never done a TV show.
Sure, TV show.
I would. So it's not really the Goldbergs. It's not the time frame I grew up in, but
Yeah.
it's the parenting structure that I was underneath, and the siblings that I had to deal with.
I should probably point out that I am Caleb's father. I should also make it known that I did not walk in the house and drop my drawers.
Yeah.
Not every time. You mostly when he came in the house, they were kind of already off. It was more like in the driveway.
And even though he played a young Jewish boy on Good Times, he's not Jewish.
yeah, true.
So he's not a Goldberg.
No,
per se.
per se. No, I really.
Not for,
No.
Yeah.
No.
I just had to get in that frame of mind.
But we didn't talk about this on.
No, this was beforehand.
Boy.
We'll talk about that in another episode.
I think you're really locking us in for probably more than what's going to happen.
We're putting out a lot of obligations here that I'm not sure if I'm comfortable
Right, and a lot of
fulfilling.
checks that I think you're supposed to predate those things. But yeah, probably because the mom and the dad character, and then the siblings that are,
Yeah.
you get it.
Yeah,
You get what I'm saying.
I hear you.
What about you, Kevin?
Mine,
Can I call you?
speaking
Can I call you
Kevin,
Kevin?
I'm going to go with Kevin Arnold. I'm going to go with Wonder Years.
Wonder
Even
Years.
though their era, the era that he grew up in, was just a little bit before us.
But it was the same.
It was
feel.
so similar. Yeah, kind of like you with,
Oh,
Goldbergs.
yeah.
It
That
was
was
so
born. That movie that took place in the 80s, and I was born in the 80s.
That's
Yeah,
true.
well,
you were
and his
born in
took
the 80s.
place. It started in like early 70s or
Different
late
Strokes, you
60s,
said?
which we were born already. So, he was maybe 5 to 10 years older than us, but still, it's
Who?
Who was?
Kevin Arnold.
Oh,
Okay.
Kevin
All right, sure.
Arnold. I thought he was talking
I
about
didn't know what he was talking
Era that
Arnold from Different Strokes. Because he was still kind of young. We were.
Different Strokes. That reminds me a lot of when we was adopted.
Yeah.
And it does
The
take
wealthy guy.
Wealthy
we had a
guy.
maid. And
Yeah.
It does
Yeah.
take different. It takes different.
it takes different strokes to rule.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. Most of the '80s TV shows all run together, so I
Yeah.
didn't really know. I didn't really know what I was getting in.
I clearly remember
I know the names.
an older gentleman, rich guy, hoisting me up, and I threw a basketball into the hoop.
I've seen
Yeah.
I've seen the pictures.
And then they put on the show, and they changed me out.
And swap it.
Yeah,
Get
swapped out
rewrites.
for
Yeah.
a funny little guy.
Yeah.
Yep. I get it.
I think at that point I was already 5'8", so they
Yeah, so
probably
it didn't look that good.
no.
The way was actually weird.
You were taller than the wealthy man who was picking you up.
So the Wonder Years.
The Wonder Years, just the the complete feel of it,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I
Mostly
lot about
attracted to
early
women who
one.
are out of your league.
pretty much, pretty much.
Which is most women.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Well,
You said it.
no,
I agree. You
I-
amended. I heard
He's the sexiest man alive, so he can get
Okay,
by
all right.
whatever.
No, let's not get into that. That's a whole other
That's,
podcast.
we won't
Off-camera
even do a
conversation.
podcast. On
Yeah.
that.
No, we can't. That's an After Dark one.
Yeah,
We'll never do.
we're not doing that.
I already flashed the camera earlier. Don't expect twice in one night.
3 times, maybe.
But the little neighborhood you grew up in.
Right.
I
Yeah.
grew up in a neighborhood kind of like that when I was younger.
Being on bikes. A lot of
Riding our
bikes.
bikes all over the place. Had
Nothing
neighborhood
really
friends you
happened.
hung out with. Nothing happening.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
No,
Pretty much, that was pretty
no
much
real threats.
A lot of it.
You get it.
I feel he's moving towards some point he's going to be making
think-
later about millennials.
I think he's thinking
and
that
whether they're going to send the
nothing
presidency.
happened during our generation.
Not
is
a
what he's
lot.
going for.
Not a lot. Cold. It was a little chilly. I do know that.
So, do you have a movie? Or movies?
Besides the thing,
Besides,
Which is
Which
one
I-
that relates to
which
you.
I
You
love.
relate to that?
Yeah.
You feel like that's part of your...
the remake. I mean, I love that.
Yeah.
It's a class. It really is a classic. But probably. I can't think of anything other than the thing and Green Mile. Yeah. Wait a minute. Field of Dreams.
Field of Dreams.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's more about baseball.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't want to be obvious.
No,
Well,
you
yeah.
can't be obvious.
Well,
So go with another.
I would say
contest.
for
Go
me-
Waterworld.
Waterworld.
That's
yeah.
nobody saw that one coming.
Nobody saw
I
that
would
one
say
at
for
all.
me, Sandlot would be one.
Sandlot.
And again,
yeah.
it's the same thing. They
Well,
would
not a
have
lot
been.
happening.
They would have been a little bit older
Not a lot.
because I think
going
it
on.
was set in like the '60s.
Just like a lightly
but
impoverished.
still,
Yeah.
it's still very similar. In fact, there's a whole lot of similarities with them hitting the ball over the fence and with the dog and stuff.
And you and the Smalls character. A lot
No,
of similarities.
the neighborhood we lived in. Okay,
Which one was that one?
You were by
that was
far
in
the
Weldon
least
Park.
athletic.
That was before.
That was before
Okay.
we moved out
Okay.
in the county. We had
A lot of
on one
athletes,
side of
and you were there
our
too.
house, behind our house, this guy. We were in town, but this guy's yard was like a junkyard.
Oh.
He was probably just a hoarder, but he had all kinds of
Really?
stuff. So if you hit a foul
That is
ball
like
over
Sandlot,
there,
kinda.
yeah, if you hit a foul ball over there,
was
you're
blind.
not getting it back.
Had a dog, big dog.
But
And one day, boom.
on the other, where we would hit home runs, this guy had a big mean German Shepherd.
Where they would
Oh,
hit home
really?
runs. Let's keep the story.
We were playing wiffle ball in our yard. We hit a lot of home runs.
They
yeah.
were hitting. Let's keep it.
If you hit a home run over there, you couldn't go over and get it because of the dog.
Yeah. Now, if somebody hit the home run, would they have to? Were they were supposed to try and retrieve it?
Yeah, whoever hit the home run.
Okay.
they get it back.
Like you didn't get a lot of. You
I
weren't.
got a lot of home runs.
Did the dog end
So they
up
made you
getting
go
to
over?
some of them? Do you
We
remember?
would go get. We knew the neighbors, so it wasn't quite that. It wasn't quite as bad.
You knew the neighbors who had the
Who
junky
had the
yard.
dog?
Okay.
Not the one who had the junkie yard. We didn't know them.
Oh,
so if a
okay.
foul ball went there, it was lost.
It was gone.
You had to pick
Because you
one of
would,
these.
you were probably just going to get cut to shreds trying to go through his yard.
No.
Oh, like
Yeah.
a lot of glass or something.
A lot of rusty
Just
old stuff.
Metal or something.
So
That's a good movie.
And he
That is
wasn't.
a great
And he wasn't
movie.
nice. This guy.
no, he wasn't nice. He was a mean. as far as we know. He may have been the nicest guy in the world, but the story was he was pretty mean. He had all that junk. So
Big dog?
the other people who had the dog that was mean were nice people.
Okay, so the dog wasn't in the junkie yard.
No, they were.
He just had cats.
They were off the third baseline.
Like really,
Probably a lot of
actually
cats.
really friendly cats.
A lot of cats.
Like welcome.
Probably
They're
so many
inviting.
cats.
Cats, nice cats.
Yeah,
Not even feral. Like they're neutered and spayed, but well taken care of,
maybe so.
groomed.
But I would say that, and I would also say Stand By Me.
Oh, yeah.
Because they found a dead body one time.
Not because we ever found a dead body,
per
but
se.
we had that the kind of freedom that those
You had a
kids
dead
had.
body. You had a dead
We
body
had
kind of
that
freedom.
kind of freedom.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where you
Where you
could
could
go off.
if you could have uncovered a dead body, you would have.
We would have.
You could go. Yeah, definitely. We definitely would have done
Do a
that.
lot of water tower stuff. Isn't that a water tower in that movie? I'm thinking of a different movie.
I don't think there's a water tower.
There could have been a water tower.
I can't remember.
There's a train
Train
trestle
track,
that go across.
That's the same.
That's what I remember.
Aren't they always?
But I mean, we would go out, play in, like the woods and stuff like that. Parents wouldn't know where we were,
Yeah.
and they probably didn't care.
Yeah, because there wasn't a lot.
We weren't in trouble.
happening.
I think it was another one of those movies where King was telling probably something about his childhood.
Yeah.
Technically, again, a generation before, but
Yeah.
really still applied to
Right.
kids.
Yeah, because
Not a lot of
things
technical-
didn't change that much.
Yeah, not a lot of technological advancements.
I feel like
Definitely
we're
not.
just feeding the beast over
I
there.
know. Yeah.
I'm just
saying.
I'm just trying to understand.
So you got a movie?
I don't know that I really have a movie that I think
That hits your
that
generation?
hits my generation.
Well, what about you yourself feel like you maybe represents yourself at that?
Yeah, it wouldn't necessarily have
Yeah.
to be your generation, but just you.
so we're not.
That's too much
we're not
pressure to
talking
try
about-
to be emblematic of
because
some
those
entire
movies-
generation.
We're not talking about
Those
my
movies,
generation.
that's right.
I don't know. I mean, a lot of movies, but not one that I feel like speak to me.
Less Than Zero.
Oh,
I'm not
yeah.
familiar with that film.
Yeah.
Didn't they do a Dracula then too?
Less Than Zero. Is that something that
Francis Ford
When did
Coppola.
that-
That's terrible. No, that was. I can't even think of who it was.
Was it, what was that other movie with the?
They did do a Dracula.
Yeah,
Lost Boys.
Lost Boys. Yeah,
Oh, Brad Pitt,
Kiefer Sutherland.
Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise.
That's an interview with him.
Interchange. Yeah, we're good.
That's another.
That's
Is
another
that the
one.
one about the girl who falls in love with the vampire?
Yeah, yeah.
And the werewolf?
That girls always fall in love with vampires.
Well, that's a.
Wait, that's Twilight, I believe.
That's
Don't
my,
ask me how
that's
I know
my
that.
generation. That's my.
That reminds you of your generation.
We
It kind of sounds like your generation.
we were a lot of vampires, a lot of werewolves, and girls who weren't that cute. I might not. Maybe didn't mean to say that.
A lot of glitter too. It seems
Mostly glitter.
That glitter
Yeah.
stuff that
Yeah.
didn't understand how vampires could
I
look
didn't
that
get it.
way.
Yeah.
Really a weird book.
What was
I
that
didn't
one
read the
movie
book.
with?
Didn't read the books. That made it sound like I did. I'm not reading books.
No, that wouldn't work. No, Singles. I thought.
Harry Potter?
What those movies that? Well, never mind.
Left Behind.
Because
Because we had a lot going on. We all thought it was the end because a lot of stuff was happening.
Left Behind.
There's a lot of bad things. A lot of bad things happening. We thought this might be it.
Left Behind.
Because the world was collapsing around us. You guys wouldn't. I mean, because when you guys were kids, everything was fine. Nothing bad really happening. But when I was a kid, the world was crumbling. So that's why we thought. That's why I would say probably I was stick Left Behind because the just collapse of civilization that we were experiencing.
Yeah.
There is a dichotomy there between Goldberg's Left Behind. It's kind of
Yeah.
Right.
you got the Goldbergs kind of a thing, and it's wholesome.
Yeah.
And then Left Behind's like the end of we're done, and now it's time to.
Yeah.
So that's going to be
so much.
a ramping up.
One rolls right up in the
But
bed.
well, yeah, I actually felt. I think that's why I came up with it because it felt like it was a natural progression of. It almost felt like the one just dovetails, as goes right into the next one. Bookends.
Yeah.
The two definitely.
So, you got no movie?
I don't know.
Jaws.
Jaws, yeah.
All right. Well, we'll end our first segment. Take a break. And we're back after ending that first segment abruptly, which I was chastised for mercilessly.
Yeah, and so much for transitions.
I don't know. Well, I'll work on that. We'll get better.
Just trying.
I even got a hard time from my wife on that one.
You should have.
She was like, that was terrible.
Just the whole thing, or just the transition?
The transition mostly. The rest of it was
Rough.
well, she liked it.
Okay.
This is going to be a surprise to Scott. He doesn't know that we've lined up some ads. We have some ad reads.
Oh.
And it's not top notch. It's not like top shelf stuff. It's like a deal where, you know, if we do well with it, then we'll get kickback. But
That's
and
interesting.
we're going to drop it on you, let you read the first one. Have the privilege. It's all on you, buddy. And I'll read the second one.
When I was when I first got my diabetes diagnosis, I was overwhelmed. My A1C was soaring, and I didn't know how to stabilize the flight. That's when I heard about LaGuardians, the thrice daily suppository. That's not. Can we say that on the air?
Yeah.
That helps. Now, see, helps me land my A1C plane. With my sugar levels soaring at cruising altitudes, I never felt better. And it's lowered my risk of heart disease, too. Some taking LaGuardians have reported a weight loss of 15 to 20 pounds. Well, that's not true. I personally have experienced a loss of a little less than 3 pounds. LaGuardians will cause serious side effects such as ketoacidosis, nausea, vomiting, trouble urinating, diabetes types 1 through 3, and a rare disease known as carrot fingers. Talk to your doctor before taking LaGuardians, as it may not exist. That is obviously not a real
Oh, man. The fact that you made it through it. Yeah.
Well, this is getting weird. I said flight. What? LaGuardians.
Like LaGuardia. That's the joke.
That's yeah. I did take a version of it.
Not this.
Not that one.
Thrice daily suppository.
Caleb wrote that this afternoon.
That's great.
Oh, man.
I would never take a suppository once, let alone
Thrice daily. Oh my gosh.
That was pretty good, though.
We've decided we're going to do fake ad reads.
Oh, okay.
So if you want to make a fake ad read for one of us to read in the future,
Absolutely.
Okay.
we'll do it.
That was good, though, because it got me in the beginning.
I know.
I was like, okay, it's the diabetes. Okay, and then I was like, flight. What? Oh, LaGuardians.
And the dreaded carrot
fingers.
diabetes type 1 through 3.
1 through 3. I like the way you covered 1 through 3.
Is there a third type?
Is there? I don't think
I think there's only 2.
1 through 3.
Then we just discovered the third one.
Yes.
Should I go ahead and do mine?
Kind of seems like we're there.
There's
I
nothing
guess so.
like giving people paranoia that they have diabetes 3.
Yeah.
I thought there were only 2. These guys are crazy.
Tacking on another one.
Just in case you didn't know.
That's scientific evidence. Sorry, Ken.
That's okay. The What You Gonna Wanna Do podcast is brought to you by Summer Beverage. Nothing's better on a hot summer day than cold, icy cold summer beverage. When I was growing up, my mom would often make it for me. My grandmas would make it too. Grandma's always made it nice. Nice and cold. There's nothing like that even today. When I take a drink of it, it takes me back to those days of my childhood. Scientists tell us that the sense of smell is so closely tied to memory that years later a scent can take you back to a time and place. That's how it is for me. Whenever I catch a scent of summer beverage, I'm right back on my grandma's porch sipping a summer beverage.
What's this for again?
Is this kind of
Summer beverage is every bit as pure and exactly the same as what comes out of your tap. Add ice for that cold, icy cold feel. Summer beverage is available but not recommended for residents of Flint, Michigan or East Palestine, Ohio.
Oh, turn.
service announcement?
No. Public service.
There you have it.
There you go.
All right.
I think Oscar Wilde had something about that. There was a term he used for the sense of smell taking you back to a memory. I can't remember what it was. Something about the White Lotus, but it was in French. So
Smemory.
Memory. Yeah.
Smemory.
That's a good word.
Smemory?
Smemory.
I don't think it is a good word.
Smemory. What are we doing in this segment, Caleb?
Well, Kevin, thanks for asking. We're going to talk about our favorite Bible verses.
Hey,
That's right.
And I think I'd like for you to start us off, if you don't mind.
Would you like me to start you off?
Yeah, if you wouldn't
All
mind.
right.
okay.
My favorite Bible verse is Romans 12:2. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind, that by testing you may discern what is the will of God, what is good and acceptable and perfect.
It's a good verse. Romans is a good book.
It is a good book.
The whole book's
Part
good.
of a good book. But that's always been one of my favorite verses.
That's a good one.
The idea of not conforming to this world. And I think back, as we were growing up, a lot of people considered themselves non-conformist, like back in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
And the thing is they said they were non-conformist, but they were conforming to what everyone else was conforming to.
Exactly.
Their friends around them, and taking part in the same things that everyone else was doing, but they called themselves non-conformist while conforming. And I've always, that's always stuck out to me. But as I've grown, the transforming part has, even picked up more meaning as well. Renewing your mind, and
Good point, Caleb.
and I just love how you see the truth in that, and you I've seen it in your life, how your life is transformed, your mind and your thinking, once you come to Christ and surrender to Him, it just changes, how you view the world in general. It
really
gives you a
does.
whole new perspective on things, and I've always loved that, and I think about that often, meditate on it, and I just hope to keep transforming, being transformed, because not perfect, never have been, and the chances of being perfect on this side of eternity are not going to happen. Probably not going to get there, but but you have to strive for that. And so that's why that's always been one of my favorite verses.
That's awesome. That's a good, it's a very good verse.
Yeah, one of my favorite verses is in Romans as well. It's Romans 5:8. But God demonstrates His own love for us in this: while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. I just think that one's so impactful, because I think so often we think of our salvation as in him dying on the cross is something that he was doing for the future us, and it wasn't what he was doing for the future us as much as it was doing for the sinner, because he died for our sin and the sinner, and not just the saved future.
Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah, awesome, Caleb. Yeah.
Aren't there some versions of that say why we were enemies even? Or brings that out that we weren't just not with God, we were actually opposed to him in rebellion, and his enemy, and he still died for us. And that's that's an overwhelming thought when you stop to think about that and realize what that means.
What about you, Scott?
It's a verse from Psalm 46. It's actually the opening 3 verses of it. So it's God is our...
This is just our favorite verse.
Oh, okay.
You got it. You're fine.
Am I all right?
Yeah, we'll let you sneak a couple extra.
Yeah, we'll let you throw a couple more in.
It's God is our refuge and strength and ever-present help in trouble. Therefore, we will not fear, though the earth give way, and the mountains fall into the heart of the sea, though its waters roar and foam, and the mountains quake with their surging. Probably speaks more to me today because of everything that's going on. I think it personally speaks to me because there's always anxieties, and I think you can get caught up in yourself and what may be happening to you, whether it's health or somebody else's that you care for is health. And it's a reminder to kind of hold fast in the Lord. I think it's easy. Well, it seems to be easy for me if I'm not focused on the Lord.
Yeah,
because then that human nature takes over. So it's kind of a verse or verses that reminds me, even all these things can happen. But,
Very good. Very good. Yeah, I find a lot of solace in the Psalms. Often when I'm like restless, can't sleep at night, I'll wake up and just go to Psalms and just start reading through them. And
I agree. I think there's that, and of course David. A lot of
many of them.
Asking the Lord and being in situations where he's really hurting or confused, and I think it's very. I think that's probably maybe why they're in there, because they have so much parallels with our lives.
Yeah, definitely.
It really is.
They definitely do. Yeah, because he went through so many. I mean, his story is so amazing. The ups and downs,
truly
topsy-turvy.
Yeah. It's a great one. So that's pretty much the segment we wanted to do. If you're watching this and you have a favorite verse of your own that you want to leave in the comments, and eventually we're going to have an email for you to be able to send us emails, and
that's great.
And that'll be pretty cool. So, but be sure to leave comment your favorite verse, and we'll go with that.
Yeah. I would say just add one more thing. If there's a chance anybody's watching at all, meaning one person,
more than one,
and they're not, believers in Christ, that just go to your local church or get a hold of one of us, and we can talk to you about it, or just pick up a Bible and start reading. Read the Word. But that's, again, maybe that's better for when we actually have somebody watching. I'm ahead of myself.
It could happen.
It
could happen.
Miracles do happen.
Miracles, that's true.
We have to believe in miracles.
That's true. Yeah.
To be where we are.
Really good segue there.
Yeah. And for this segment, we're going to be talking about some news with Scott.
News with Scott.
Hi, folks. These are. This would be what happened on this day. Well, for September 5th. People who were born and people who died.
Not born. The opposite of born.
Oh, people who
Unborn? No, that's not it.
Can't do that. We're going to start.
Never mind.
Freddie Mercury. He was born today.
First I'm hearing this.
In 1946.
Same year my dad was born.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's where my grandpa was born.
Yep.
That is
And
nuts.
probably your dad.
Yeah.
Could be.
Could be.
Same dad?
It's crazy to think not the same dad.
Oh.
It's a rock band, singer from rock band Queen, primarily big in the 70s and 80s, but there have been resurgence of songs since then.
The movie about him, not that long.
Oh, that's right. The movie.
Just Rhapsody, right?
Yep.
What do you mean Rhapsody?
I just think it was just Rhapsody.
Was it just Rhapsody?
It could be. I don't know. I didn't watch it.
Now we go to the other side of the coin. Mother Teresa passed today.
Just now?
Not now, but back in 1997.
97?
Wow.
This is like when Caleb found out that Elvis had died.
This is a story you tell that I don't
It's an
remember.
awesome story.
It's one.
Because you were so upset, and he was dead before you were ever born.
Because
He died.
I mean, I don't
What do you mean?
recall this.
He's dead?
97, though? I felt like she died more recent than that.
Yeah, I thought so too.
You know, it's because she lives in
or
Calcutta.
so she doesn't live at all. She's dead.
She's dead.
Well, but in eternity.
It says founder of the Order of the Missionaries of Charity for the Catholic Church.
Yep.
Another born on Louis the 14th.
Oh.
Wow.
So of course King of France.
Yep.
Big fan. Liked his work.
I guess
The 13 other Louis, pish posh. But
Pish-
the
pish
14th,
posh.
I can't remember if it was that. It was Louis the 14th that we're possibly descended from.
Oh, really?
that adds up.
Well, you look kind of like him a little bit.
You got a little bit of his hair. Definitely the schnoz.
The nose.
Yeah, he's got
has a
quite the
resemblance.
Yeah, he's got quite the nose.
Yeah.
That might have been how. What do you think? Silas had his hair when he got that perm, or
Yeah, he looked quite a bit like that.
Got a King Louis the 14th vibe going.
yeah, he's got it going. The little mustache.
He does have a very French mustache. Can we say that?
That you can.
And the
I
last
don't know
one.
why it's
Oh,
such
sorry,
a-
Cap.
I don't know why the genealogy thing said we may have been descended from him because it said we weren't French at all. So
But he wasn't French born. Louis the 14th.
it wasn't.
Yeah.
Not for the sake of what I'm saying.
He was. He was. he was. He was the king of France.
Yeah, but he wasn't French per se,
Oh, okay. I got it.
according to what I'm saying.
Our last notable personage that had was born today in 1929.
Oh boy, that's a long time ago.
Bob Newhart.
One of the all-time greats.
Older than the ballpoint pen.
Oh wow!
You don't say.
I used to have a driver
I
who
love
was as old as the ballpoint pen.
Really?
Yeah.
I loved Bob Newhart. He was hilarious.
Yeah, I think he's hilarious. One of the funniest guys, I think, to be on television.
Yeah.
One of them.
Recently he passed away, and then it always kills me when people who were famous like he was. Yeah, I guess it kills me. It's not a good thing to say.
Irony.
But
Because Bob Newhart was brutally murdered.
that's not true.
Oh.
But when anyone who had such a long career like he did, such a storied career,
Yeah.
had 2
Shows.
very big TV shows,
I know where this is going.
but then he passes away, and the newspaper says,
The newspaper? The newspaper says this? What year is it that the newspaper says this? Where are you getting the newspaper at?
I didn't necessarily get the newspaper.
Yeah, nobody does. The newspaper says this, he says. Would you time travel?
But the headlines, there's still headlines even though there's not newspapers.
You said newspaper.
It's like
the cat delivered to your
Big
front door?
Bang and Elf Star passes away.
Oh yeah, which
He was in both of those.
And those were pretty recent.
fair. Well, yeah.
Would you say?
Yeah.
But
So maybe something that would be more encompassing for people that weren't.
Yeah.
But star of the Newhart show does not appear.
Yeah, that's
Which is what made him.
That's weird.
And he was a stand-up comedian,
Stand-up guy.
stand-up guy as well.
He was a stand-up guy.
He was just hilarious.
A deadpan kind of
so dry.
delivery, and well, you remember his part in Elf,
Oh, I do remember.
where he's
that.
kind of
Yeah.
that kind of look and.
Yeah. It was very funny.
And just to clear some things up, Louis XIV was born in France.
Well, there you have it.
It's pretty highly
Just because
debated.
you're born in France doesn't mean you're French.
That's right.
That's true.
maybe he was on the other. The French. The only war they've ever won was the Revolution. So maybe he was on the other side. I don't know how that whole thing went down,
Who knows?
or when it went down.
Yeah.
I still don't even think I know what it was about. Somebody
Also
wanted-
known as the Sun King, if you remember that in your history.
Yes, I remember that because.
And that's what I've got for births and deaths on this
All right.
day.
Well, how about some wacky news?
Ooh,
Oh.
yeah.
Oh, wacky.
Odd news oddities.
Oh,
Have you heard this one, Scott?
have you heard about this thing? He's doing the
Off-
Jay Leno on you. Have you heard about this thing?
Off the coast of Brazil, Rio, they've found sharks.
She's dancing on the sand. What's her name? Her name's Rhea.
No,
Name's Rio.
they found sharks that had cocaine in their system.
Oh, wow. Really?
Cocaine sharks off the coast.
Really?
Yes. And they don't know how exactly the cocaine got in their system.
They have a problem. That's how.
They think that perhaps some Colombian sharks came and sold it. Can't say that.
Oh my gosh.
Did the bear have anything to do with it?
The bear was, as far as we know, the bear was not involved in this.
Oh boy. Well, we jumped the shark.
Were those Mako sharks?
I'm not really sure what kind of sharks they were.
Okay.
Great
Someone
white.
said bull. Oh, great white.
Is it cocaine? Get it? Cocaine's white pretty famously.
Great whites.
Yes.
Great white sharks.
But I mean,
How,
they said that it'll stay in their system longer than it would
Really?
a person
Because
because of the way their metabolism works.
Jeez.
so those sharks can be high for a
They
minute.
just
They're swimming
they
much
just
faster now. More productive.
popped up on the shore and
Yeah.
snorted a line and got right back in.
Yeah. How do you do that if you're a shark? I don't
know. One of the things I saw.
How do they get their friends to do the credit card?
Little mirrors?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't understand that. I don't know.
It's a strange.
You gotta be an awfully talented shark to
Very.
There's some sort of weird shark drug ring we don't know.
There
about.
take a ride on the cocaine train. That's,
Caleb has something for us now.
Called from a retirement, which I had supposed was to continue for the residue of my life to fill the chief executive office of this great and free nation, I appear before you, fellow citizens, to take the oaths which the Constitution prescribes as a necessary qualification for the performance of its duties, and in obedience to a custom coeval with our government and what I believe to be your expectations, I proceed to present to you a summary of the principles which will govern me in the discharge of the
thank
duties
you and good night.
which I...
The Whatchagonnawannado podcast is brought to you by Scott Dog Productions and is made possible by viewers like you.